Like Lego bricks.
Yeah. Hi guys, welcome to the Science Snacks, where science feels weird and fun. By the way, my name is Arash.
I'm Farzana, your science nerd and plant fanatic.
And I'm Izzat. Promise snacks, but start with amino acid. So let's roll.
So, what are we talking about?
Today's topic, the fascinating word about synthetic amino acids in genetically modified crops.
Think like super agent science, but for plants.
Super plants, super protein, just mistaken.
What are amino acids?
So, amino acids are fundamental building block of life.
Like Lego bricks. But instead of building spaceship, they build protein, muscle, and plant parts.
So basically, there are tiny things that make up into big things that keep us alive. So how actually synthetic amino acids are made?
First question. So, before we dive into how actually the synthetic amino acid can do, let's talk about how they actually make.
Great points. There are two main ways: chemical synthesis and biosynthesis using microbes like bacteria.
Wait, bacteria? Like yogurt bacteria?
Exactly. Scientists can modify bacteria with custom DNA instructions.
And bacteria act like manufacturers, which is producing more synthetic amino acid.
In the lab, chemists can make the synthetic amino acids by linking the specific molecule together, atom by atom, like high precision puzzle making.
So either chemistry chef or biobrewers are whipping this up. Science is wild.
Once they are made, researchers test them to make sure that they work the way it's supposed. More stable, more efficient, or better at building protein. So, what are synthetic amino acids?
These lab-made amino acids aren't just copy. They come with upgrades.
Like they might frag better into a protein, resist damage, or even last longer under the stress.
Wow, it's like giving a natural amino acid a software update.
How do plants use them?
For that, researchers are now engineering plants to use this enhance the amino acid.
These are not average crops. They are designed to thrive in the tough conditions.
Being a plant these days is no joke. You need superpower.
So, what is the benefit?
So, these modified crops can survive heat waves, droughts, and pest attacks.
Picture a soybean that keeps growing through a summer while laughing off the insects.
Wow, it's like a crop version of action movie hero.
Are they safe?
Yes, the GM crop go through the strict safety testing.
Organizations like the FDA and also EFSA already make sure that they are safe for people and also the environment.
What? More tests than I took in high school? And I took a lot of tests.
Also, we already use the synthetic amino acid in supplement and medicine. So, by using them, is it that different? So, what's the method?
Because climate change is already stressing out the farmers and also the crops.
Oh, and food security depends on building crops that can handle these challenges.
Feeding the world and saving the planet? No pressure science. A glimpse into the future.
With this technology, we might reduce the pesticide use and grow food in a harsher condition.
Future crops might even adapt to the changing weather in real time. So guys, we are moving from overview of this topic into a deeper conversation. Right now, we are joined by Dr. Maimuna binti Muhammad Ali, a lecturer from Department of Food Science, Faculty of Science and Technology, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, and an expert in food engineering to help us understanding more about this topic. So, welcome Dr. Maimuna.
Thank you.
Okay, so how are you today, Doctor?
We can continue.
So, we have a question for you, Doctor. My first question is, what is the impact of application of synthetic amino acids in genetically modified crops, particularly when you are talking about agriculture and also the border of food chain?
All right. Synthetic amino acids are man-made versions of natural building blocks of protein. They are basically added to help, for example, animal grow better without needing a lot of high protein feed like soy or bushmeat. Okay, when we talk about positive impact, I will align four impact, right? First, for better animal growth, because synthetic amino acids can help basically animals grow healthier and faster while using less feed. Okay, this could save in terms of money and also resources. Second, in terms of efficient farming, because GMC often needs fewer pesticides and fertilizers, so this can reduce farming costs and also environmental impacts. Okay. Third, basically to improve food supply, because by producing more food with fewer resources, both synthetic amino acids and GMC can help to meet demands of growing population. Okay. Fourth impact would be less land use, because these tools can help to produce more food from less land, which means we don't have to clear forests or farmland. But of course, there are some possible concerns. For example, in terms of environmental risk, because there are warnings that sea might affect nearby wild plants or leads to pests becoming more resistant. And also, some people are cautious about eating food made with GMC ingredients, right? Or from animal fat with synthetic amino acids. Even though there are studies shown that they are generally safe. I think that's all for the first questions.
So, the second question is, do you see synthetic amino acid playing a major role in future food security?
Okay. Overall, food security means making sure everyone has enough safe, nutritious, and affordable food to eat now and in the future, of course. So, how do synthetic amino acid helps? Think of synthetic amino acids as special ingredients, like a vitamin supplement for livestock, for example. So animals need amino acids to grow strong and healthy, just like humans do, right? So by adding these limit amino acids, so we can first use less feed to get the same or better results. Because, for example, in this case, animals can grow better without needing as much soy or fish-based feed, which would save space, water, and money, of course. So, second, it could reduce pressure on the natural resources, since we don't really need to grow as much feed crops or catch as much fish or feed. So, in this case, we help to protect land and oceans. So it could also lower the environmental impact. It means that less pollution and food more efficiently produce less food waste. So why does this matter for the future? Because with the world populations growing so fast right now, right? So we need to use more food using fewer resources. So in this case, synthetic amino acids can help make farming more efficient, more sustainable, and also more affordable.
So our next question is, in what ways could synthetic amino acids enhance the crop resilience to the environmental stresses like drought, pests, or even soil nutrient deficiencies?
All right. In this case, actually, the first stress would be to help plants survive drought, because when there's not enough water, typically plants get stressed and start to shut down. So some synthetic amino acids like proline can help plants in terms of holding on to the water better and also to protect their cells from drying out. So this means that the plant can keep growing and producing food even when rain is scarce. So second would be fight off pests and diseases, because certain amino acids can boost plants' natural defense system. making them be better at resisting insect attacks or diseases. It's like giving the plant a mild vaccine to get its immune system ready. So some amino acids also help to make compounds that test back to place, so but leave the plants alone. So next would be in dealing with poor soil, because if the soil doesn't have enough nutrients like nitrogen or phosphorus, plants struggle to grow. So in this case, synthetic amino acid help in terms of absorbing nutrients more efficiently and also stimulate growth so they can reach more water and minerals. Yeah.
Oh, doctor, I have a question. Can the incorporation of synthetic amino acid in GNC alter the enzymatic reaction pathway?
Alright, so what happens when synthetic amino acids are added? So if a GMC is designed to use a synthetic amino acid that doesn't occur naturally, so it could first make enzymes with new features like being faster, stronger, or working in harsh condition like heat or dryness. So it could also protect enzyme from being broken down too quickly, so they could stay active longer. So this could be really helpful for improving nutrient use, like helping the plant to grow well in poor soil or resisting pests and diseases, and also tolerating stress like drought and extreme heat. But there are some things to consider. While this sounds very promising, right? So many researchers need to be careful because changing enzyme pathways could also accidentally affect other processes in the plant. And it could also change the way the plant grows or react to the environment. And also it could create unintended side effects, which is why this kind of modifications is carefully studied before being used widely. Yeah.
So, Doctor, my last question is more about chemistry aspect. So, how do actually structural modification in synthetic amino acids affect their stability and function in genetically modified crops?
All right. So, what does structural modification means? So, it means changing the shape or parts of an amino acid to improve how it works. Imagine you're upgrading a Lego piece, for example, to make it more stronger, to fit it more tightly, or do something new altogether. So these tiny tweaks in shape can have a big impact on how the amino acid can behave inside a GMC. So how does it affect in terms of stability? So a more stable amino acid basically could last longer inside the plant. So it doesn't break down too easily in heat, sunlight, during stress, and it can also keep working even in harsh conditions. So modifying structure actually can make it more tougher and more reliable. So how about when you affect, how does it affect the functions? So changing the structure can also help the amino acid fit better into the enzymes. So making those enzymes work faster or more accurately. So it could allow the plants to do new things like resist certain pests or absorb nutrients more effectively. So think of it like upgrading the software or hardware of a machine. So it could perform better in different environments, right? So it could improve how protein work, making the plant to grow better and also stay healthy longer. Yeah.
Ah, I see. So, thank you, Dr. Maimuna, for answering our question and sharing your knowledge with us.
Okay, thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Just like that, we wrap up our dive into synthetic amino acid and GM crops.
Thank you, Dr. Maimuna, for joining us to help us understand better about synthetic amino acids in genetic modified crops.
We hope that this podcast will got you thinking about the future of agriculture.
That's all from us. Thank you for listening. Bye bye. Hi guys. So it looks like we just have me and Arash here as Izzat is getting his snack. But it's okay. Let me just continue with our podcast today. So I think there are a few questions that people might be wondering about synthetic amino acids in genetic modified crops. So people might think that actually how do the scientists get this synthetic amino acid into the crop? Well, it starts with tweaking the plant genetic code. Normally, plant use DNA instruction to string together proteins, the strands 20 amino acids. But by hijacking the code, by adding a new instruction, scientists can sneak in a new amino acids. It is kind of like hacking the plant recipe books and adding a brand new spice. This usually involve modifying the tRNA and also the ribosome system. So think of them as the chef and also the kitchens. And then the plant can build protein using that new ingredient. So interesting, guys. So another question that people might actually ask is why we even use synthetic amino acid? Why not just stick into a natural one? So here's why. Because first, if we use synthetic amino acid, we can create a crops that have built-in resistance to the pest or even a certain disease. And second, if we use synthetic amino acid, we can actually reduce the plant's reliance on a chemical pesticide. Thirdly, when we use synthetic amino acids, it can actually make crops that more resilient to a climate change. And lastly, when we use synthetic amino acids, we can actually control the spread of the GMC because some synthetic amino acids are only available when supplied by human. So, if a crop is kept into the wild, it can survive without its synthetic ingredients. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so we have to look about the reason why we use synthetic amino acids or even how it actually being applied into the plants. So people might be wondering again, what is actually the application of synthetic amino acids? So there are a few applications of them. So for the first one is pest and disease resistant. So by using synthetic amino acids, scientists can design a protein that pests or pathogens have never encountered before. That's mean the pest can easily adapt or build resistance. It's like giving a plant a brand new shield for with a material insects don't know how to get through. Okay, so for the second application, I think it is one of the coolest and clever idea on how we want to use synthetic amino acids. So it is about environmental control. So when some genetic modified crops are engineered to require a synthetic amino acids that actually doesn't exist in the wild. So if this crop somehow escape into the nature, it can't survive on its own because it needs the lab made ingredient to grow. So, this act like a biological containment system, preventing the uncontrolled spread of the genetic modified traits. So, for the third application is industrial and pharmaceutical uses. So, some genetic modified crops is with synthetic amino acids can be used to produce a custom protein with unique properties. So, this protein might be clone or even bind to specific molecule or act as a building block for new materials. So, you can imagine a field of rice or even a corn that actually quietly producing ingredient for life-saving drugs or even an eco-friendly plastic. That's the kind of innovation that actually makes possible thing, right? So I think the last application is kind of cool of research the synthetic amino acids, which is in the future application. Maybe we can include crops that produce the enhanced proteins tailored for specific human or even animal dietary needs. So engineering crops maybe can include protein with synthetic amino acids so we can improve digestibility, add the missing proteins, and also or even a missing nutrients or even design food that actually support a specific health goals. I think this is one of the biggest hub or biggest changes in the health industry if we can actually make this realistic or reality. Okay, so overall, I honestly think that synthetic amino acids in genetic modified crops have a huge potential in the future because this is not just about the profit or making the crop stronger, but it also actually can help us to have a more stable food security in the future. And this is actually one of the biggest game changers if we can apply it as a wholly in this world. And wake up, guys! This is not some science fiction or a movie, but this is happening right now in the labs. And maybe in the future, we can have a better vision of synthetic amino acids in genetic modified crops. So that's all from me. So I will pass to Arash next to know what is the bad thing about synthetic amino acids. Is there even have a bad thing? So Arash will discuss about it later, okay? See you guys.
Oh, thank you Fazana for explaining about the application of synthetic amino acid in GMC. So let's start with basic. So we know that synthetic amino acid are man-made version of the building block of protein. So in GMC, they are sometimes introduced to enhance nutrition, improve growth, or control pests. Some is right. Well, not so fast. While the science is promising, there are some real concerns. So today, we will break down 5 major disadvantages of synthetic amino acid in GMC. Let's begin. One of the biggest red flags is the possibility of unintended health consequence. Because when you insert synthetic amino acid into the plant's genetic code, you will introduce a new ingredient to a food chain. So that can result in unfamiliar protein that our bodies or bodies of livestock haven't evolved to handle it. Allergies, digestive issue, or other health effects are all potential risks. So next, let's talk about the environment. So what happens when the synthetic amino acid is into the soil or consumed by insect or microbes? So the long-term effects are well understood. So they could disrupt soil health or even harm beneficial organisms that ecosystem depends on. Thirdly, plants are like a little biochemical factories, and tweaking their machinery isn't always smooth. So introducing a synthetic amino acid can interfere with natural metabolic processes. So effective plant growth, nutrient uptake, and even resiliences to disease or climate stress. Now, even if the science check out, the public and policymaker often push back. GM Core already faced criticism, and the addition of feasibility, let me amino acid, that raised more eyebrow. Regulatory bodies around the world apply a strict rule, and ethical debates about unnatural food can stall the innovation. And finally, evolution. Some GM crops are used as synthetic amino acid to target pests, but over time, pests may develop resistance, just like they have with a herbicide-resistant crop that can lead to a super pest or super weeds, making the original problem even worse. So, what the takeaway? Synthetic amino acid in GMO are a cutting-edge tool with a great potential, but they are not without risk. Like any powerful technology, they need throughout use, transparent research, and strong regulation. I think this all from me. Thank you Fazana to listening to me while Izzat is missing with his neck. Oh, before I forget. So before we end this podcast, I want you guys to see this video to more understand about the synthetic amino acid in GMC. So let's go.
Are you concerned about the safety of genetically modified food? Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, have had their DNA altered in some way. This is done to make them resistant to pests, herbicides, or other environmental stressors. GM food is prevalent in the market, with sources like soy, corn, canola, and sugar beets. Some argue that GMOs can help feed a growing global population, while others worry about long-term health effects. Opponents claim that the technology behind GMOs is still experimental and that not enough is known about their long-term impacts. They also argue that GMOs can cross-contaminate non-GM crops and create super weeds. There is also concern that GMOs could become resistant to pests and herbicides, leading to the use of even stronger chemicals. However, supporters of GMOs say that thanks to biotechnology, farmers can grow more crops with fewer resources. GMOs can also help reduce food waste and increase shelf lives of crops, leading to less spoilage. There is no consensus about the safety or benefits of GMOs, and opinions on the matter are polarized. The organizations that regulate GMOs vary by country, but few have reported any adverse health effects. However, transparency about the presence of GMOs in food is an ongoing issue. Currently, some companies voluntarily label their products as GMO-free, while others do not disclose this information. In the United States, GMO labeling laws are not yet mandatory, but some states have passed their own laws. In conclusion, whether or not to consume genetically modified food is a personal choice. It is essential to stay informed and seek out reliable sources of information on the topic. See you in our next video.
So I think this all from us. I want to say thank you for you guys to watching our podcast about the synthetic amino acid EGMC. I hope you guys will more understand about the function of synthetic amino acid EGMC for the future. So don't forget to like and subscribe my channel, okay? And wait for the next episode if we have, okay? Bye.
Or even solve nutrient deficiency. Dan apa sebut dah?
Mana?
Nombor 3. David.
Aduh, tak masuk lah dalam video. Aku tembak perut.
Aku harap kau gagal. Kau hidup.
Modifications.
Nak stop tu tak menyakitkan. Apa maksud?
Bisa tahu kan? Is that what you?
David.
Kita tengok video eh?
Ha?
Tengok video.
Ah, jap.